जय गजानन। गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं हेरंबाय एकदंतिने स्वानंदवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः। Well, Sri Hari has not yet joined.
No.
Is it not 7 o'clock?
Yes, exact 7.
Today we are completing 3 months since we started.
One quarter.
So, a record, right? So, today I thought we'll have a discussion, but Sri Hari has not yet joined because it would be meaningless with just two people discussing a thing.
That is not discussion. That is only talking and
It's
hearing.
only a conversation, unable to digest the contents. uh, Mr. Suri is saying that I cannot digest the contents.
Who's saying?
So he has not been joining. He's not been joining for the last few days.
No wonder he
He's
was
not able to digest the contents.
during this thing, when you say that Mudgal Puran,
Yeah.
we used to just sit like this. I had a doubt, but then it's not good to speak it out. No? Then people might get offended.
Yeah.
But I think his age and health don't permit him.
Yes.
First thing is, if you don't hear it properly, you will not understand. And
Yes.
you have to hear it with the intention of understanding it. Otherwise, no.
Yes. When you already have a mindset that I know everything.
Yeah, that's it. You said it.
Nothing goes in, right?
What else is there to know?
What else is there to know? I've gone through life. I've lived my life. I've got children. I've got grandchildren. I've seen everything.
Everything.
So then you put a full stop because you have experienced 1% of what life actually is. And we think that's all the life is.
This 0.01% also is more.
Yeah, yes. So it is just like an elephant. Somebody touches the trunk and they say that this elephant looks like a pillar. Somebody touches, a rope, and then somebody touches one leg and he says that this looks like a pillar. So elephant is a pillar. Somebody touches the tail and says this looks like a brush, and so they say that the elephant is a brush. So looking one aspect of a thing and coming to conclusion, it's like that. So you come to a conclusion based on one aspect of a thing and you say that is the whole and you assume that is a whole. So that's where we go wrong. I think Hari has joined. Hari, have you joined? We are waiting for you. Hello, Hari, you're on mute.
Yeah, I joined.
You joined. Okay. So actually, I was waiting for you because 2 is only conversation, 3 is discussion. Okay. So today, since we are completing 3 months, I thought we'll have a discussion on something very important, which I've been repeating several times during this last 3 months. One is of appearances and truth and reality and deception. I've
My
always
God.
been saying appearances are deceptive. That's my very famous statement. That statement I learned when I was in 11th standard in
Oh,
school. My commerce teacher told me, commerce, he was teaching us commerce, accountancy, and accountancy on auditing financial. That was, I had taken the commerce stream and FYGC, Mr. Joe Sequeira. He passed away recently. He made this statement: appearances are deceptive.
deceptive.
Imagine an accounts teacher telling you the first statement, your ABCs of accounting.
No, because this is the balance sheet.
Yes, see,
And the company is going down.
he was an MCom and he was a BEd or MEd, whatever. And he used to teach in colleges also. And then he had come to school because now we had FYJC, so he came. It was in school, so he started off there. And his statement was appearances are deceptive. An accounts professor who has studied the balance sheet. So, what are appearances? What you study the balance sheet are just appearances. They are deceptive. That is why, as a banker and as a faculty in the regional staff training college, I used to teach analysis of a balance sheet,
Oh, this is great.
analysis of the financial statements, how we should analyze that to find out the truth about it.
Truth.
It is always, you cannot take it for granted as it appears on the balance sheet. Because as per the Newton's third law of motion, every action has a reaction equal and opposite in direction. For every asset, there is a liability. Asset,
Obviously.
asset is not an asset alone. Asset has been created out of a liability.
Liability.
Similarly, in the country today, all what we have is over 100 or 200, 170, whatever the number, billion borrowings. It's on debt. Just as Trump is going on saying we have 620, 36 or 32 billion, trillion, or whatever it is, that number. So many $1 trillion in debt. That
The
means,
economy, he says
oh,
it's 4 trillion now.
uh,
Economy, he says it's 4 trillion now.
so economy, but that 4 trillion has a debt to it. That is, we have borrowed money and created an asset,
Yes.
right? It is not an asset in reality. It is not something you own. Tomorrow that asset has to be liquidated to pay that debt. Is it not? That is why, as Trump is levying taxes on every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every country, on every product, so that that amount can be recovered.
Recovered.
Now
Actually,
that,
America is bankrupt.
yeah, America is bankrupt actually. You can say, because they have got a huge debt. That huge debt, if to really show that they have an asset, they have to liquidate that debt. And that is impossible when it is in trillions and it is owed by all other nations. I was hearing to another one podcast where I'm just telling randomly. Okay, it is not the exact countries.
Okay, go on, go on.
France and Germany will have a borrowing from UK will have a borrowing from Spain. Say Spain will be borrowing from Italy to repay France and Germany.
So it will go round and round.
It's round and round. So each one's borrowing is somebody else's asset. So everybody has to liquidate all their assets to repay, so that the zero balance will come. A tallying जो बोलते हैं ना, At the end of the year, you have to tally.
Tell it.
This whole world is never tallied. This whole country is not tallied. No nation is tallied. No nation is in balance. It comes to that, right? Or it is a all nations are in balance. But if we consider that nobody is satisfied, there is war, there is always unhappiness, there is always a push and pull from somewhere, that means nothing is in balance. So appearances are deceptive. So why I wanted to introduce this today was, see, I remembered early morning Vijay Merchant. See, India is a cricket mad nation. So is Australia, so many other countries, West Indies and all that, who play cricket. And now we are making other countries also mad, like the Middle East and all. So this Vijay Merchant in the 1960s, 70s, there was one cricket with Vijay Merchant.
Yeah.
15 minutes a radio program used to come, cricket with Vijay Merchant at night. It was at 10 o'clock or something. And he used to say, you should retire when people ask why and not why not.
Why not?
Right? You should ask when you still have some credibility left. And not when people start asking, why don't you retire?
Why doesn't he retire?
You know? So that was a famous statement, and which is like, see, many things which we learn in school when we are very young, it sticks in our minds and it proves right every time, even in our old age or even in middle life, in our career, everywhere. So I used to always look at it with these basic fundas which were taught in school days. To look at everything, it's not with a colored glass. To look at how much deception is there, how much reality is there in this.
Not face value.
Don't accept anything for face value. And that is what science is all about. Science is all about investigation, inquiry, Vedanta, Vedas, scriptures, everything is about who am I? First and foremost, you ask fundamental question, who am I? So everything about Vedanta, science, our scriptures, and science as such, the physics, chemistry, science, that also is based on this inquiry. And unless it is proved wrong or right, means whatever our this thing is, we go on testing it, testing the waters. And in cricket, there is also one thing. There are the team is 11, of course, but there is a 12th man. Hai na? For 12th man is always waiting when my turn will come.
Somebody is injured.
Somebody is injured, or somebody says I'm retiring, or somebody says I'm not going to play in this match or something. Then that 12th man's turn comes. And that also depends on the captain, or that depends on the selector, and other factors are there. So I'm like that 12th man. You know, nobody seems to be hearing me. Nobody seems to be listening to what I'm saying, or except for the two means you can say you are neither the selector nor the captain, so you cannot select me. So I can never get a chance to play. But the real people are not really listening. They are not even this, and not that they don't know. I have been tracked and followed through Pegasus since 2014.
Ah.
I am under observation by US, Israel, our government, Modi and company, and everybody else. And yet, whatever I say, it is manipulated, doglapan, dohrapan. I was just looking at the the meaning of dohrapan. Why I'm talking about appearances and deception. Deception, it is the meaning of dohrapan is doubling, double acting, doubling, double barreled, or double. This is called kapat vyavahar, or duplicity, dohrapan, deceitful. This is the meaning of the duplication, which the on Hindi channels and all, they call it doglapan. they call that Doglapan as a colloquial term. So, and I found another one meaning of in that Doglapan, double first, where विश्वविद्यालय के 2 विषयों में उच्च श्रेणी की उपाधि प्राप्त. Double first. So you have a double-edged sword. You know, whatever you say is twisted. Whatever you say is contradicted and twisted to suit them.
Themselves. Correct.
So this has been happening for so long that the 12th man has to come into play. So I decided that because yesterday's there is a thought for today. Okay, there is a everyday one thought is there. September 1st ka thought tha ways to make this month epic. Okay, that was yesterday's thought. Count your blessings regularly. Work with passion and purpose. I have been doing these two. Try out new things. I've always been doing that. Learn new skills. Yes, I joined a AI program, also excelling in Excel and everything.
Good.
Then embrace the present.
Ah,
I am in the present, but I'm not embracing the present
Mhm.
because I'm not telling my, I'm not engaging in active conversation, or I'm not
Yes, sir.
heard. Unless you play, you're not in the picture. That was what was today's thought for today. Today's thought was thoughts are imagined realities. Only your actions can bring them to life. So mine is immediate implementation. Okay, I don't wait for very long. So actions only can bring them to life. Despite the emotional weight I've been carrying all these years, thoughts will be only fictional stories, not that the media doesn't know. There are channels who know my story. There are news channels on TV who know my story, magazines who know my story, Times of India know my story, but still they will not be published because they think it's a fiction, or they are afraid, or they want to still maintain appearances which are deceptive, to maintain status quo. Right? So they wield no power over you unless you assume that they are true. So I'll have to say why it is true, right? When I used to, Pegasus can follow you through satellite. Now, why we don't want our satellite to enter into our country? Because they will be able to track you anywhere and everywhere through satellite. Even when light is not there, Wi-Fi is not there, still they will be able to track through satellite. It is a defense. These kind of mechanisms were mainly meant for defense. It was not meant to enter into
Offense.
civil life. That is why we are not at peace. People are agitated. When that enters common man's life, it creates havoc. And see, there may be many factors to it. Why they were tracking me. One reason could be was because of Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja, because I'm not in a public figure, I'm just an ordinary employee in one of the banks. There was no problem of me in question, and I was so truthful that I would produce petrol bills to claim my scooter, my conveyance allowance. Means वहां भी आपको एक चुक नहीं मिलेगा. And then in fact some people used to say, अरे आपको मालूम नहीं कि खड़ा रहेगा तो भी पेट्रोल कंज्यूम होता है स्कूटर, so you have to claim bills. Means just telling me, otherwise हमारा bills चला जाएगा. So that was, so when that kind of level of on means there was no reason for any kind of or unless if it is the other end of how a person can maintain this level of integrity, authenticity, right? Even saints are followed, sannyasis are followed, and also the criminals are followed. It's not that they are in the same equation. It's just that the the level of purity, truthfulness, and the level of corruption on the other end. So perhaps that could be because my book was first published in 2012. And that was the time when Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi, who founded the Sahaja Yoga method of meditation of Kundalini awakening, passed away. And that year, the day she died, my book was released.
Oh,
And she was one person who was only most, say, out of 12 months in a year, 10 months, she was in other countries. US, UK, Dubai, Australia, New Zealand, England, Italy, New Jersey, Russia, Ukraine, everywhere. All over the world, she used to travel. And she made Sahaja Yoga famous across the world. There were millions of followers. And I had happened to come to Sahaja Yoga in 2000, and with that method of meditation, I was cured of my medical condition of schizophrenia, which I was medicated for. And because of prolonged medication for 16 years, I started developing symptoms of schizophrenia, although it was Kundalini. I said there's this very slight thin line between spirituality and the altered consciousness. That is, which is a disease or schizophrenia. So the medical profession know only chemical imbalance of the mind, schizophrenia. So anyone who fits that definition will be classified. Even Shri Mataji was put under schizophrenia medication and she died. In 2000, I cured myself of Shri Mataji's method of Sahaja Yoga meditation. I was cured. This is the appearances and deception, the difference between why it led to that we will not go into that analysis. I'm not going to go into that analysis, but this Sahaja Yoga method of meditation, which was so powerful, which was a Kundalini awakening, which is the knowledge treasury of India. It reached its heights when people across the world started honoring Sri Mataji with their highest level state awards. Whatever awards Modi is being given today was given to Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. It is there in my book, Sahaja Yoga, The Secret to Self-Unfoldment and Transformation, the book which was first published in UK. It was not published in India by Author House UK. It has a list of all the awards which he got. And all countries have given the highest national state award before discovering this method of meditation, including China. China CEIB technology. That is, they gave it a scientific name because they did research on that. They applied and they used that experimentation and results and that technology for treatment of various diseases without any allopathic treatment or any other medication. Even today, that is why Russia has given the highest award to Modi in gratitude for the technology that is saving lives there, which is there in hospitals. Even today, they follow. So this method of meditation, which is a boon. Yes, so I used to follow that meditation and I was cured. And in 2012, my book was published. And in that book, I never mentioned about my suffering of that disease. I only gave how Sahaja Yoga helps in care. I have never mentioned, it was only in 2018 when my book was released, The Conscious You. The Conscious You heal and integrate you through Sahaja Yoga tools and techniques. And also, I think in Sahaja Yoga, Heal and Integrate Your Subtle Energy System, that was published in 2017 or 16 by Author Reputation Press, US. These two companies, before 2018 maybe, because it was before COVID. And during COVID, that company closed down or it was disappeared. Means the literary agents who negotiated with me just simply vanished. And then the company said, we have nothing. So well, so it was only then in that I have included 2 additional chapters where I have mentioned my story. Otherwise, nobody knew how I had cured myself of Sahaja Yoga. I had only told about the ways in which the Sahaja Yoga tools and techniques can be used, how the imbalances in energy can be restored, and everything. I had given the full. Actually, it was because I wrote it that way because it was like a dedication to Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. It was in honoring her services. Well, so now why am I telling all this today? Because this Sahaja Yoga method helped me so much that I got my promotion. I got my promotion as a manager after 19 years. Then I became senior manager. Then I was selected as a faculty for training all the officers and managers, even executives I have trained in our bank. And I refused to take promotion as chief manager because I wanted to continue training people, because that was where I could reach out to the people and share my knowledge, my expertise. And because I was gaining so much knowledge because of that curing of that, getting rid of that medication, so much of my faculties opened up that I did MBA, I did my MD in alternative medicines. I did so many 52 other training courses, many of which are from the US. I had done several courses on health, on how various diseases can be cured, how the consciousness can be evolved, evolutionary awakening of the evolutionary mind, and so many such other this in Greg Braden's and everybody, all you name it, and I have done it. All of Jack Canfield's or Brendan Burchard or everybody. So many great speakers and authors courses I have done, and that gave me such a big vision. And I also used to do feminine power, awakening of the feminine power. And in that I had done, that was, of course, it went from 2012 onwards, 2011, I think I started all their courses from the basic up to masters. Mastery tak, mastery also twice mastery. That was almost 2011 to 2018. 7-8 years it went on. That courses, finally it led to coaching certification. Means I could coach others in feminine power and train others across. And this community was leading women across the world, including people who like Marianne Williamson and all, who ran for the as a presidential candidate in the US. So that was a community of women we were doing for feminine power. Across the world, there were people from Australia, there were people from New Zealand, there were people from, I was the one from India, there was another lady from India. We were 2 or 3 people in from India. 2 people whom I know. I don't know. I think there may be a third person also, but I'm not sure. So, so we were just very, and other women were from US and Europe and all of that. So in this process, at one point we used to have pods, we used to have group discussions, which was on Zoom. In one of those discussions, I mentioned one of those discussions when I realized that many in the US, those who are giving yoga courses, those who are conducting yoga, they had the yoga boutiques and whatever, yoga trainings. Many of them had done copyright of our yogasanas. Hamara hi yogasana, halasana, hastapadangustasana, or whatever, and they used to give their own English names and register under copyright. So I objected to that in one of those podcasts, pod groups. I objected to that, and I said, see, this is unfair. In India, this yoga practices has been since 10,000, how many ever years? It is since ever since a yogi was there, since then there is these yogic practices, and we don't charge. It is given as from the Guru Shishya Parampara. It has come down to us. Even now, there are so many yoga classes which is free of cost. Gyms you pay membership, but nowadays, of course, yoga monthly because the hall has to be hired and also they charge. Otherwise, we used to have it in the open garden and there was never charge, or in the school hall, we never charge. It was given free of cost every Sunday and or every day also. There was never any charge for that. So now when I mentioned that, perhaps it reached Modi. So he took it up at the United Nations and he made at the United Nations as the Yoga Day. He introduced Yoga Day, and in the first anniversary speech, he mentioned that yoga, there will be no copyright for yoga. In the speech at the United Nations or wherever he went for demonstrating that yogasanas, he mentioned it in his speech. So that was when I realized why I was thrown out of feminine power. Immediately after I had this podcast where I had this argument about copyright, I was given, I had submitted my coaching certification ke liye sara assignments tayar. I submitted also. It had only to be evaluated and I had to get the certification. I got a Zoom call from one of the executive directors of that organization who we were doing this company, which was giving us this, like a university, you can say. And they told me that at the board level, we have decided not to give you a certification because of these reasons. I'll tell you 3 reasons why we have decided. One is, okay, they gave me 3 reasons, very flimsy reasons. When someone else is talking, you're talking in between. Means this kind of reasons they gave me. And then they asked me, do you have any questions to ask? This was in 2018, I think, during COVID it was, somewhere during COVID. Yeah, because in 2021 only this Yoga Day was declared, right? So 2019 or some 18 or 19 maybe. So, or immediately before COVID, maybe. So then they gave me these 3 reasons. And then by that time, I had got a feeling of something to do with this because see, when we have a level of sensitivity and intuitive knowledge of that level, when you reach a certain stage, you can know what is going on where. Only you can't point out from where it is coming. You know that thought is in the atmosphere. You can pick it up, but we can't only locate the source. So I came to know. So I asked the question, is our government involved in that? So they said no. So then they asked, do you have anything to say? See, that call was for half an hour. The call ended in 2 minutes. These 3 things they said, I asked this question and I said, I have nothing to say. Then you have nothing to say. So we are going to cancel your certification. You will no more be member of Feminine Power. You cannot mention our name anywhere in the world. You cannot say that you were a student of Feminine Power. You cannot mention that you are a part of Evolving Wisdom. You will not use any of our materials. I said, okay, fine, thank you. And I ended the call. It was a Zoom call. And I never spoke about it till today. I have mentioned a few to 1 or 2 people maybe who are close to me and who are still my friends. One or 2 people, not all. I might have mentioned this only to 2, 3 people because of my commitment as a word to feminine power. But early this year, Feminine Power themselves, Evolving Wisdom themselves, wrote an email to me, please renew your membership. Please access your courses, your resource materials, study courses and everything. It was the same user ID, same password. So then I realized, okay, so there is no harm in disclosing if necessary. since they have accepted. See, it's a private organization run by a husband and wife, but they are they're intellectuals. They are people who have done research in development of consciousness. I'm Claire Zammit and Craig Hamilton. They have done years of meditation in as a priest, in the church priest, as a pastor. They have meditated for hours together without eating anything or without even drinking water, without speaking a word, and then they have developed this knowledge. So you can't trifle this knowledge.
They must be under pressure.
They are under pressure. They closed it down. They had to close the whole, because I'll tell you the pressure of having to, even do injustice to one student would have weighed on their head. It is not that, and I never said a word to anybody. I just, after when they sent that email, then after just last 10 days back, I went to their website. It was closed. There was only that picture of that building where they used to conduct those classes. They used to have physical. I've never been to US, so I've never met them. I've never seen them. So it had reached this stage. And imagine, some members are people who are from the Senate, who are people of high positions in US. And if Trump is telling 42 times, this is one factor because it has affected the feminine power of US. It has affected the morale of the women of US. And today, if the hollowness of Modi is coming out, it is because of this. People don't want to accept. The media doesn't want to accept because they have propagated the deception for too long. They just can't digest that reality. That is why the 12th man had to come to play. Because I just can't see the disaster that we are getting into. All our data is in the US. Hamara pension account number, our PPO number are in Google's records. When you signed last year, when you signed the life certificate, that certificate ka data is in US.
This man is alive.
This man is alive, and then he's signing something with China, who is just waiting. He's like a dangling the sword on the head. And China has all parallel of whatever US has. They have their own data center, they have their own Microsoft, they have their own Facebook, they have their own internet, they have their own AI also. Everything, they have their own thing. They don't depend on the US. And now they're pulling India into it. Whereas India's of 140 crore people's data is with US.
That's why they're afraid of China. Americans.
They are not afraid of China. They are afraid of the immensity of the disaster that can come. See, even if 10 lakhs, 10 to 20 lakhs people of India are supporting that software system in the US. We are the one who are the plumbers and who are maintaining their software. And now IIT of alumni of Mumbai, Chennai, that Kanpur, Kharagpur, everybody are getting together to teach us that AI. One section of our people, the intelligentsia, is trying to teach us about the US, and that even Pichai and that Facebook fellow Zuckerberg both have signed with Mukesh Ambani for starting a company called Reliance Intelligence for AI in India. And here the political head is going somewhere else, disconnecting from US. How can it happen? It is like wrong magnetic poles coming together. There is no attraction. Why has India been able? Why is India so connected to US? Because even from Vivekananda, even before any of our spiritual gurus have first landed in US, if that knowledge has to take roots in India, if that knowledge has to become common knowledge, that is knowledge of the people, they had to first make and set up an ashram or give a speech or establish it in US, then only it could take roots in India. Why? Because India is Mooladhar and US is Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi is for communication. If only when the communication is active, the Mooladhar can work in India. We are so closely connected. It cannot be disconnected.
Well, this joker has come now.
Which joker?
Trump.
No, Trump is not a joker. He knows everything very well. He is an intelligent man. Only he is facing a joker. He has to break his head against a joker who cannot get it into his head. He cannot get, he is not able to even understand because he has not gone to school. He doesn't know basics. Experience may be a better teacher than education, but only when there is education that experience can be of any use. Education is necessary to remove the mental blocks we come with or our parents give us, so that the ground can be fertile, for the crops to grow. Then only that experience we'll have some reference point to be able to learn or unlearn. Otherwise, when there is no reference point, you go and embrace everything. Today, why I am telling is because of the story of Sindhurasur. I'll tell you the story. Ganpati Bappa's today is what? Which day? I don't know, 7th or the 5th or whatever day is Visarjan ka day. Ganesha, and I have already mentioned this in my podcast. Ganesha, we believe him to be the child of Shiva and Parvati. When he was born as son of Shiva and Parvati in Dwapara Yuga, he told that, please, as a child, please go and leave me in the palace of Raja Varenya and Pushpika in Mahishmati, which is near Jalna in Maharashtra. So, Raja Varenya and Pushpika were Ganesha devotees from Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga, they did penance. Treta Yuga, they did thousands of years penance, and they got the vision of Ganesha. They got the vision of Ganesha, and Ganesha promised that he will be born as a child to them. And then they were born as a couple in Dwapara Yuga as Raja Varenya and Pushpika. So Ganesha comes as Ganesha tells Shiva and Parvati, please leave me as a child in, so it's a double role. Okay. Double role by Ganesha during that time. Pushpika was pregnant. They just leave the child next to her and the dutas or ganas, and they go. Now here, this Dwapara Yuga, we can't say that this Dwapara Yuga, it could be any of the Chaturyugas Dwapara Yuga, okay? So after leaving Ganesha there, they go. This queen gets up and she says, she finds this child. And she says, oh my God, what kind of a child I've given birth to? With the trunk of an elephant, 4 arms, and all dressed up. She got frightened. What will people say? The Rani has given birth to some kind of a creature. So she asks her courtesans to go and leave the child near the river, on the banks of a river. Parashar Rishi, Parashar Muni, whom we were talking about yesterday, he passes that side and he finds Ganesha, this child. He immediately recognizes Ganesha, takes him home, does Yajnapavitam, the thread ceremony, and he teaches them all the Vedas, Upanishads, Shastras. He comes of 12 years old. In that area, there was one Rakshasa, there was one Asura named Sindhurasur. The Sindhurasur was creating havoc because he had got a boon from Brahma. Sindhurasur, he had done a lot of penance. He did penance for hundreds and thousands of years to Brahma. And he got a boon from Brahma that anybody whom I embrace should die. Anybody whom I embrace should die. So he started capturing one kingdom after another. Whoever he wanted to overpower, he used to go and embrace him. That person would die and he would capture the kingdom. In this way, he was becoming powerful. Everybody was frightened. So all the rishis and munis, they went and prayed to Ganesha, saying that, see, we are frightened of the Sindhurasur. At any time he will come, he embraces us, means we are dead. So they told him about the story how Brahma, and one day what happened was, how they came to know was that Sindhurasur went after Brahma to embrace Brahma himself. So Brahma was so frightened. Brahma said, what is this? The boon I gave, he's applying it on me only. Just like that Bhasmasur in Vishnu Puran. So here, the Brahma also, Brahma, Rishis, Munis, they all prayed to Ganesha, and then Ganesha manifested. Ganesha said, okay, I will come and I will be born as a child to Parashar Muni, and at that time I will come and kill him. So that is how this Brahma, actually Ganesha was born to Shiva Parvati, and he told him to go and leave him there so that as a child, and so to kill this Sindhurasur. So after 12 years, when he was of 12 years of age, he assumed his Virat position. Now he was in incarnation, he was a part of Ansha incarnation. So he had all the powers of Ganesha, all the power to be heavy, you can say the hugeness of the body, the physical strength and everything. So when he went in front of Sindhurasur, when Sindhurasur came to embrace him, he increased his strength and size to such an extent that he just shattered that Sindhurasur. Shattered his hands, body itself into pieces, and all his blood he applied on his body. And that is why that sindoor which we apply on our forehead for Ganesha, that sindoor, that is in as a indication of the extent of negativity we can go. It is a surrender of the negativity. When we do namaskar also, it is not only in honor or in reverence of the person, but in surrender of our negativity. It's only in surrender of our bad qualities. And why everything this went wrong in this Sindur, Operation Sindur? It was because of this. And I'll tell you one more thing I would like to share here. Here, because even in this book was released in 2024 or 2023 or 24, I don't know. It was released, the Mudgal Puran, by the Mudgal Puran Trust from Dadar. It became available, and the Sindhurasur story. Even before that, even Ganesh Gita was also published. Ganesh Gita was the teaching of after killing Sindhurasur. Ganaraja Prabhu gave the knowledge of Ganesh Gita to King Varenya in Mahishmati at Jarma. So that is how the Ganesh Gita. Ganesh Gita was published by White Falcon Publishers in Chandigarh and was released in Pragati Maidan in Delhi. And after that that story of Sindhurasur is in that book. Perhaps others would have read that book. That is why after that, when Modi went abroad to whatever summits in Europe, nobody embraced him. Earlier, before that, there were huge comments on how he's embraced, and all of a sudden, when he went to that Europe some summit, I don't remember which summit, nobody embraced him, and that was a big story.
They were afraid.
And I'm not making this up. This is a fact. Everybody tried to bring sense to him, but nothing. Still, it doesn't seem to work. Even as on date, it's not. Even yesterday, it doesn't seem to work. In spite of the crowds of 10 lakhs crowds in on the Bihar streets, still nobody gets tube light. इतना बंद हो गया है. This LED tube light is not. It is continuous. वो पुराना tube light जैसा वो ये नहीं होता है. चमकता नहीं है. Otherwise, we used to use tube light as an example when थोड़ा देर से समझता है तो.
Mandabuddhi.
All the tendencies of the mind, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Mura. Forget Ekagra and this. वो तो बहुत लंबी है, दिल्ली बहुत दूर है जैसा, you know. Doglapan. Appearances are deceptive. At one point of time, in when Ram Mandir was opened, I found 6 duplicates of Modi. Very visible. Now, who is the real Modi now in this? और एक चेहरे पे कहीं चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग. That same one person can have so many appearances. They say to be in the limelight, एक चेहरे पे कहीं चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग. What is limelight? Limelight, चूना. चूना लगाने के लिए. एंड चूना किसको लगाते हैं? वो जो पान है ना, पान में चूना लगाते हैं. To get that high. When will we see reality? Let's meditate for 2 minutes. Put all the thoughts to one side. Bring all your attention to your breathing. First, check whether you are real, whether you are that 5 feet 6 inches or 6 feet whatever inches, whether you are really sitting there or is it an AI generated figure of you. Check whether the breath is really going into your lungs and count 1 to 12 as you inhale and 1 to 12 as you exhale. Focus on your breathing. Increase the count to 1 to 13. Slowly wriggle your fingers and your toes. Rub your hands together. Cup your palms. Place it on the eyes. Slowly rub your face and open your eyes. Anything you want to share, or we'll talk tomorrow? We'll see tomorrow. Bye. Thank you so much.